Nicholas Iwamoto has seen the worst and the best of humanity up close. In 2009, he was randomly attacked at the summit of Coco Crater. He survived 18 stab wounds, a 100-foot fall, and betrayal by the justice system. He says, "How do you proceed when you survive the unsurvivable? That's what I'm trying to figure out." He has spent the last 12 years rebuilding his life from the bottom. He is immensely grateful to have recently graduated from Hilo with a degree in European history. In his opinion, we are nothing but the sum of our choices, and finishing his degree at Hilo is one of the best choices he has ever made. His experiences mean he is in a unique position to help others. By speaking out, he can reach those who feel that they don't have a voice, particularly victims of violence. He agrees with Franz Kafka, who said, "Logic may indeed be unshakable, but it cannot withstand a man who is determined to live." In his free time, Nicholas enjoys Russian history, knitting, golfing, and being magical.
Aloha, my name is Nicholas Iwamoto. This is called I'd Like a Large Order of Justice with a Side of Justice. When I hear the word just, I think about justice or the administration of what is just. And I think about Lady Justice, first of all. You remember that lady in the statue holding the scale, balancing right and wrong? I have pursued her for over 12 years and counting, and for 12 years she has eluded me. I want nothing more than justice because we always want what we cannot have. So here's my story. On February 1st, 2009, I survived one of the most gruesome attacks imaginable. In a random act of violence, I was stabbed 18 times at the top of Coco Crater by an individual who had experienced a psychotic break. He thought Japanese men wearing blue were government agents and were about to kill him. And getting stabbed was actually the easy part, because once I fought back, he pushed me off the top of the crater and I fell 100 feet. I broke my neck, fractured my skull, broke a bunch of other things. But I survived. I lived to fight another day. But my recovery has not been without struggles. In particular, when we talk about justice. Is it just that my attacker was acquitted because of temporary insanity? Is it just that he was released from the state hospital so that he could attend Windward Community College, unescorted, just 3 years after committing one of the most violent attacks in the state's history? Is it just that he is not obligated to pay me a dime in restitution because technically he did not commit a crime when he tried to kill me? Is it just that every movement I make is a physical reminder of what my attacker did to me? Of course not. We live in a world where chaos has always reigned supreme, and it always will. Suffering is an integral part of life, I've learned in the last 12 years, and it's actually just as integral as love or happiness. And as soon as I realized that and I embraced my suffering, I found peace and resolve and healing. Life is not fair, and it doesn't have to be. You can't make a sword without throwing it into the fire. And I've emerged from this fire stronger and sharper than I ever could have imagined. I've rebuilt my life from some pretty low points, and I know how lucky I am to be here. Not many people get a second chance at life. And when things are either good or bad, I realize that this is all bonus time for me. And that usually grounds me pretty quickly. A few years ago during my recovery, I learned the power of my voice. I learned the power of speaking out. I learned how healing it can be. And I learned the strength of vulnerability. And by speaking out and sharing my story, I've been able to reach other victims, usually victims of violence, people that have been forgotten. And I found that by helping others heal their wounds, I can heal my own wounds at the same time. And I built a community around me that cares for me, that has empathy and compassion, and can understand the things that are almost impossible to understand. And when I have a bad day, we all have bad days, and I start asking myself, why me? I think about the day at the top of the crater, and there was about an hour where, my death was certain. And I think about how sad I was to know that I was about to lose my life. And I think about how sad I was to know that I wasn't going to get to say goodbye to my loved ones. And with every fiber in my being, I wanted to stay alive. And I waited for an hour for the coup de grace that did not come. And I made it. Now, the world is not just, and it never will be. That's not how this game works. But I realized something. Even though I may never see justice in a legal sense, I think about how far I've come in rebuilding my life. And I think about how much love I have in my heart for the world and all the creatures in it, besides fire ants and cockroaches, of course. And I realized something. A life well lived is a form of justice in itself. So perhaps I found Lady Justice after all.